What's going on, everyone? So there's some real concern about Ja Morant. Right, this guy just cannot catch a break, and you really hope that this doesn't kind of become a persistent thing with the injuries. Now, he says he's fine, just look like he rolled his ankle and whatnot, but the Memphis Grizzlies need Ja desperately. Last year, he couldn't get out of his own way. He only played 9 games for the Memphis Grizzlies, primarily because of his decision making off the court, to put it nicely. And then he came back and ended up getting hurt. And I believe a lot of that was because he went from 0 to 100 right out the gate, because Memphis was so far behind. And it's why, like, I even talked about, before he returned and in the offseason and all that stuff, when we found out all the information about Ja, that, like, they should just sit him out for the season, period. Because everyone knew Memphis wasn't going to do anything. Everyone knew Memphis wasn't going to go anywhere or win anything, right? But it was just like, you're going to bring Ja back. He's going to feel like he needs to go 100 miles an hour and try to get into a play-in if he can, and runs the risk of hurting himself. And then that's what happened, right? Because you got to keep in mind, his suspension also detailed that he couldn't work out in the Memphis Grizzlies facility. So he wasn't able to use their equipment and trainers and facility to work on his game. He had to go to, the local Y, the local gym, right? Like, I'm not saying he wasn't working out. I'm not saying he wasn't doing his conditioning and training and stuff like that. But it's not the same thing as an actual NBA facility. And on top of that, you're not getting any practices, you're not getting anything, and then jumping immediately into a game going 100 miles an hour. That's not good for Ja. And look, Ja's history, period, has not been great. The most games he's ever played for his career was 67 games, and that was his rookie season. He's played 67 games, 63 games, 57 games, 61 games, and 9. Right? So remove the 9 games, because again, a lot of that was just his off-court antics, not really because of injury, although he did get injured, but I think it was tied to the off-court. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt of last season as far as the injury games played, right? But you look at all the other years, he's averaging like 60 games a season. So he's missing 22 games. That hurts. That hurts your team, right? Look, the days of 82 games for stars is basically long gone, right? Like, unless you're Mikal Bridges, very few guys are playing all 82. Not saying that there aren't guys that do, but there's just very few of them. And it's also Ja's play style. We saw it with Derrick Rose. Like, him constantly being explosive to the basket and creating all that contact and hitting the ground constantly and all. His style of play doesn't have a good longevity track record. And he's an incredible talent. It's not taking anything away from Ja. And look, Ja says himself, that he's good. It's preseason, right? And it didn't look like it was this major significant. But like, he rolled it on, what was it, like a fast break transition play, and then went to the locker room, came back, and then ended up looking like he re-aggravated it again on a dunk. Right? And it's just like, I'm glad, he's good, but he's not going to be like, oh, no, like, I really messed it. No, he wants to play. I don't think he'll play the next preseason game, but we'll see. Maybe they want him to kind of keep strengthening it. That could be a possibility. But look, there's a lot of expectations for the Grizzlies this year, right? Personally, and this is just me, I don't think that they're an actual contender. I don't. But I think that they have the potential to be very good. I wouldn't be shocked if they're a top 2 or 3 seed in the Western Conference, because they're young, they're talented. Ja, if he can play 70 games, right? I think the addition of Zach Edey was solid. Right now, you can move Triple J to the power forward position, right? And then Zach Edey, with his size, his strength, his ability to be an impact guy now, right? Rather than like a development guy. Talking about a guy that go get you probably 18 and 10 right now, if you give him the usage and whatnot. And you saw some nice plays. You saw some nice sequences, especially with Ja and Edey already starting to build that chemistry, already starting to build that relationship. I think is huge, right? And Memphis, I think, can be, again, a very good team. I just don't think that they'll translate well into the playoffs yet. Could they get there? Sure. Well, I also think there's concerns about lack of size out on the perimeter. Although with Zach Edey and Triple J on the inside, that helps a ton. Right? You kind of got to be one or the other. You either got to kind of be really good defending the perimeter and be just big out on the perimeter, or you got to be good defending the paint or big in on the interior. You can't be small all around, right? Because that now teams they got to basically shoot over the top, which could pose an issue, but we'll see. Right? Memphis is fun, right? They're a fun, energetic, exciting team, right? They're gonna have some highlight moments. You're gonna get some explosiveness. Ja is, a highlight reel in and of himself. He's a guy that you're just gonna have that ESPN top play. Like Memphis is going to be a fun, entertaining basketball team, but they need Ja to be the best version of himself, right? They need him to be on the basketball court. Best ability is availability. And look, Ja is an incredible talent, but they need him to play, like I said, 70 games at least, right? More the merrier. Because if Ja is already starting to deal with little knick-knack injuries, and it's just like every game you watch him, and it's just like, is this the moment? Is this the game? Is this where he, takes that dive? Like, you hate to see it. You hate to even think it. You hate to even say it, but it's his style of play. We've seen it over and over again. And him constantly hitting that hardwood, him constantly hitting that deck. We've seen him deal with wrist injuries. And, so even when Memphis got eliminated by the Lakers 2 years ago, Ja was injured and dealing with wrist injuries and all that stuff, right? I still think that they lose to the Lakers regardless, but maybe that series would have been a little more competitive. Maybe that series would have been a lot better because Ja could have been able to do a little bit more. And I also have concerns, how much does last season carry over? Because again, he essentially sat a year out. He played 9 games. 9 games. And again, he wasn't able to work out for the first half of that season. He wasn't able to work out in the facility. He wasn't able to train. He wasn't able to do the things necessary. Again, he's doing it on his own, but not the same thing as actually using these high, advanced, top-of-the-line facilities. Right? Like Memphis's training facility, you're not going to get that anywhere else. You're not. Right? Just like every NBA organization. Like, they invest so much money and they have every equipment. They have the top manager. They have everything. You're not going to get that anywhere else. Right? But, look, I'm rooting for Ja. I like Ja. I've, talked about him heavily and how I hope he gets out of his own way, because he's just such a gifted, talented player. He is so fun to watch. I want to see him have success. This is a guy that was on his way to be the face of the league. I don't think he'll be that anymore, just because, again, he kind of got in his own way. But this was a guy that had, sky's the limit, and it still is in a lot of ways. And Memphis is a team that, they believe that they can win. I wouldn't be shocked. Like, if they're in the conference finals, I wouldn't be surprised. Get the right matchups, right? Like, I think they are, I think that they're a fun, exciting team. I think they're going to be a tough out. I think you're going to actually have to beat this team. But, I don't think they have overall enough to get it done. But we'll see. Time will tell. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel with your thoughts? Do you, too, have concerns about Ja? Do you think, like, Memphis, they'll be fine. They'll be good. They're going to win a championship. Do you look at it as, like, Ja, he needs to take better care of his body. He needs to stop hitting the ground so much. He's got to adapt and adjust his game. It's just, there's a lot of parallels, to him and Derrick Rose. And you don't want to see that. Derrick Rose was just like Ja, highlight reel, incredibly explosive, incredibly athletic, just so much fun to watch. MVP, youngest MVP ever, all of that. You name it, the guy was a monster. And it's just he just retired, and it's like there's a lot of disappointment. You don't want to see that with Ja. But again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.